Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so we basically hit the second target. We came up and hit the first target right here at the 38% level, sitting at 0.338. Actually, let's kind of rewind because we were looking at this triangle pattern a couple days back. We got to break out to the upside. I was saying the next spot I was looking at is the 38% level, sitting at 0.338, like I was just talking about. We broke out of this downtrend right here where we had resistance, 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 broke that going to the upside. I was saying that after we break out this, the next spot I'm looking at is this Fibonacci retracement level. And if we could clearly break above this and break this previous top right here, then I think we could be heading to the next one, the next Fibonacci retracement level, the 23%, sitting at around 0.394. You could check it out in my last two videos. And so, okay, so we basically did both of those things. We came up, hit the first target. Actually, I had another target too. Check this out. Watch 4 hours. And then we had that triangle pattern like I was just talking about. If we drag from the top to the bottom of that, I guess it doesn't really matter though. But if you drag from the top to the bottom of that, drag that to the breakout, target of around 0.361. I don't know, I think it might have been a little bit lower in my previous video, but we came up, hit that target. Actually, I know it was lower. It was somewhere around here. I think it was somewhere right here. Anyways, came up, hit that target. I was in that. After that, I was saying if we could break out of this Fibonacci retracement level, then the next one we're looking at is the 23% sitting at 0.39394. Came up, hit that level. We hit it a couple times, and it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble breaking through it. And like I've been talking about in my videos, these Fibonacci retracement levels act as resistance and support. So like, let's check it out. We had a nice little run, boom, got a bounce right there, came up, hit that Fibonacci retracement level at that candle on the 1 hour time frame right here, came down 2 hours, and then, or two candles, should I say, and then the candle right here came up again, had trouble at this area, and then came down. After that, we got a bounce right here again, so it looks like we're forming a support line. We have support, 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 giving us this trend line right here. If we break this trend line going to the downside, then I'd be looking at the next previous. I'd be looking at the Fibonacci retracement level going to the downside, the next one going to the downside. We haven't done that quite yet, but we have hit my target. So I'm kind of curious, are we going to break through this resistance right here, or are we going to go to the downside and come down to the next Fibonacci retracement level? If we break the resistance, then I didn't really think about that. We could have like some sort of flag pattern or pennant pattern, but I don't know. I feel like we're having trouble right here, like breaking through this top. I'm wondering if we're going to go to the downside. That's just what I'm thinking, but I guess you could argue that it kind of looks like a flag kind of pennant pattern. We have this big run up and then consolidation. If we could break to the upside, maybe we could drag from the top to the bottom like I just did of that pole. So we have this pole and then the pennant pattern. Drag from the top to the bottom of that. We get this little line right here, something like that approximately. Drag that to the breakout. If we broke out to the upside, and then that would give us a target of around maybe 0.431 possibly. Kind of lines, well, it's a little bit higher than these previous resistances. I was going to say the next spot. Okay, so let's say we break this. Let's also say we break this resistance that we've been kind of forming. We had that resistance right there, resistance right there. If we break above that, then I'm going to be looking at the previous resistances, maybe right here and right here, which are numbers. Let me see, around 0.414 and 0.424 approximately. Those two areas would be probably next. I'd be kind of interested to see if we could break above these. Then we'd be looking at like the next ones, something like that, where it's like around 0.467 and 0.485. If we could break out of this Fibonacci retracement box in general, let's zoom out. If we could break out of this Fibonacci retracement box in general, break out this previous high right here, then I mean, it's kind of hard to tell right now where or to target, but I feel like then we'd have to zoom out even further and look at like the other previous resistances. But okay, so I have this red line right here, and I haven't talked about this in any of my videos, but this red line is from this previous resistance area right here. We have resistance. Let me go ahead and zoom in because that's tiny. I can barely even see it. Okay, so we had, this is back in 2021. Let's see, is that right? I think so. This is April. Yeah, April 21. Basically, we came up, got resistance right here. We came up right here. That was the top right there. Came down, and then got a bounce and went up. But we did get resistance. That was the top right here, and that's that red line. Also, we came down after we. Okay, so we retraced, got a nice pump to the upside, kind of blew the top, and then came back down. When we tried to retest this previous high right here, came up, retested it, got rejected, came down. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that red line lines up with these resistances. And if we zoom, we go back to, so this was back in 2021, right? Let's go back to present day. Let's see. That's basically where we're having trouble right now. So we went above it a little bit. We went above it like right here a couple times. Boom, boom, tested it. That's actually kind of good that we broke above it though, honestly. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I think if we could break above this, then we could be looking at that. We could be trying to retest that previous high. We could be trying to go like retest these previous highs, which could be, let's go ahead and do some more red lines, maybe something like that. Let's say, yeah, the top. Let's do the wicks because it's like the wicks, the absolute top. So those are the next two tops that I'd be looking at, .589 and .738. As far as just looking at the previous resistances, you know what I mean? That's part of the puzzle, should I say. So let's go ahead and go back to where we're looking at. And okay, so this will give us a clue. Like, okay, so like I was saying, once we break out of this Fibonacci retracement box, what are we looking for? Or like, what would be the next targets? Here, these red lines, these are some of the previous resistances that gave us trouble in the past. We had a little resistance right there, and then we had the top right there. So those could be levels to watch as well, either for resistance, or if we break through them, then we could be looking at a big, huge pump to the upside. So let's say we broke this red line and then we broke the top right here. I would say there's no reason why we can't come to the next one at .589 right here. And then if we, let's say this one gives us trouble, or we start coming into it, having trouble with it, and then it breaks to the downside, we do something like what we're looking at right now, but we actually break to the downside, then I'd be looking at, I don't know, we'd have to kind of evaluate at that point. But if it was okay, so what I was saying though is it'd be maybe form a trend, and then if it broke that trend, go to the downside, maybe this would act, that would confirm this is acting as resistance. Sorry. Okay, got that thought out real quick. Okay, so let's go back to the 1 hour time frame of Dogecoin. I'm kind of curious. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's going to break through this 23% level right here? Or do you think it's going to break that support and maybe come down to the Fibonacci retracement level again? It didn't quite work out that perfect in this one, because I bought down here, came up, hit the target over here, and then it started coming down. And then so I sold it. So I made from there to there profits. Boom. Pretty good. Actually, it wasn't that high. It was maybe like right here. And then it came down, and then it started trading like this, and then actually broke out to the upside. I actually did put in a position, I think like somewhere around here, because it was having trouble like pushing down. I was like, oh, it might not be going down. So I still have a limit order here. I'm way less confident on it. Like I was saying, like in last video, if we're breaking to the upside, and I have a limit order down here, I'm just getting less and less confident on that, and eventually I'm just gonna have to cancel it and either put it somewhere else, or I don't know. Yeah, or look for another opportunity, should I say. So let's see. Yeah, I'm very curious. Are we going to break to the downside or are we going to break to the upside? If we do break to the upside, we'll be breaking a Fibonacci retracement level, which actually will be a really good sign. Maybe we'll get a nice little movement. Let's check out Bitcoin to Dogecoin to Bitcoin real quick. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I also want to talk about moving averages. I can't forget about that. I haven't really showed them in a while. So basically, this is the Dogecoin to Bitcoin chart. If this chart is going down, then it's good for Bitcoin. Like you want to be in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's outperforming Dogecoin. And then if it's going up, then you want to be in Dogecoin. Dogecoin is outperforming Bitcoin. So like while it's been going down, I've been kind of actually buying Bitcoin. I've been more into Bitcoin this whole little area, really. Because it's been going down. Now that it's going up, I should really start focusing more on Dogecoin, really, because we had like something like this. Let's go ahead and delete some of the... Okay, yeah, actually, that makes sense. Let's delete this one, though. Because we had resistance pushing us down, straight downtrend. I mean, a clear downtrend. And then it looks like we broke it going sideways right here. Broke it going sideways right there. Once we do that, then I like drawing the bottom and the top. Something like this is what would have previously been there. Maybe something like that. We actually had resistance. Okay, resistance. That's where I got that line from. We broke that trend line going to the upside, and like I was saying, once we broke this going to the upside, now I should be looking at Dogecoin over Bitcoin. I should be kind of more focusing on it, in my opinion, or like it's more of a reason to focus on Dogecoin over Bitcoin right now because of this little signal right here. We're on a clear uptrend right now. We have support until we break this line right here. I got that support, the line tool, boom. Till we break this line going to the downside, then we'll still be looking at an uptrend maybe. I think the other thing too that I wanted to point out in this video is, in this chart, should I say, is if we go to the daily time frame and zoom out. Remember how I was telling you guys about previous resistances? I don't know if you guys have been following my channel or not for a while, but I had been talking about these lines. I took them off my chart eventually because they were just there was like a lot of them. But every time we were breaking through them, especially these first ones, kind of like what we're talking about right now. So we have this resistance. We broke that resistance going to the upside. Now Dogecoin looks like it's doing good. Down here we had like a resistance, and then we had a line. We broke that going to the upside, and ever since we did that, that's when we really started outperforming Bitcoin. So back to the point, we had the final line was somewhere like right here. Excuse me. Somewhere was like right here. Let's go ahead and do like a horizontal line just to make it easy, something like that. Except let's go ahead and do this like red because that's resistance. Okay, so it's like somewhere like right there. And I was saying, I had been saying, because we'd been smashing through all these resistances. So we had resistance. We're just like smashing through them like nothing. We came up to that last one that I was telling you about. This is kind of like the last one before this one. And then we started having trouble, and that's when we started pushing to the downside. Basically, what I was saying, though, what I'm trying to spit out is that if we could break through this red line right here, then I think we could get a big, huge move to the upside. Dogecoin get a huge move. And I say that because the next resistance is right here. So from here to here, let's go ahead and do that. Whatchamacallit? Let's go ahead and do something like this. We'll go ahead and do the percentages, or percentage from there to there is 38%. So if we could break out from there to there, and we're down here, so like from down here to there would be around 58%. I don't know if it's going to do that or not, but I'm just saying if we could do that, then that would be huge. We're trending up again. So, I mean, it's more possible when you're trending up than if you're like crashing down to break through that. So that's a good sign. I mean, like, check it out. Let's zoom in a little bit. Sorry. We were trending down. We went sideways. broke to the upside. Actually, technically, we broke this one going up. I mean, we broke it going sideways, but I like when we break trends, I like watching the top and then watching the bottom, because it could just be going sideways and then you don't know if it's going down or if it's going up, even though we did break a trend. So we were going down, we broke that trend, but it could have formed a flag pattern and broke to the downside. So that's why you watch the top and the bottom. We broke to the top basically. Looks like Dogecoin. Dogecoin's doing good compared to Bitcoin, and that's kind of the point. But it looks good. And if we could break through this red line, is also the point is that if we could break through that red line, then we could get a huge. Maybe we might be looking at a big, huge move. So keep your eye on Dogecoin and Bitcoin. If you're not on TradingView.com, that's where I look at these charts. Go check it out. Create an account and search for your favorite crypto and stuff like that. Yeah, also, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, because I never mentioned that in like the middle of it. I wasn't mentioned at the end. But actually, I think we're kind of getting close to the end, though. Let's go to Dogecoin and see what it's doing again. Okay, back to the 1 hour time frame. I'm looking at this on the 1 hour time frame just because Dogecoin starts moving pretty quick sometimes, especially when it's like moving. So we had this run up, getting consolidation. Let's see if it breaks to the downside or if it breaks to the upside. It looks kind of like a falling wedge. I mean, a rising wedge. You know, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. That's kind of a bearish pattern in general, but it is attached to this big pull right here. So it's kind of like I was saying, like, I want to see what happens with the top and kind of with the bottom first before I start like getting more confident on whether we're going to come down here or we're going to break up and maybe come to that red line and or break out or go further and start like going nuts. You know what I mean? I'm kind of nervous because we are approaching the level that I did take profits at, somewhere right here, and I'm definitely not completely back in. I don't even think I'll be able to. I already spent the money that I pulled out, but I was trying to I was hoping that we can go lower so I could have accumulated more. Let's see what happens though. Like I was saying, like I've been talking about in these videos though. Also check out what happened. Fibonacci retracement levels. Boom. Had a nice big run up, had trouble in here, started coming down. We set up the Fibonacci retracement chart, the Fibonacci retracement levels. And if you don't know what that is, when we have a big run, start having trouble, get the Fibonacci retracement tool, drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run. That gives us these levels to watch. I really like watching the 38% level and the 50% level. It's like robotic at this point. It's just like I've talked about it. I talk about it almost every one of my videos. Maybe there's new people. I don't know. When we have a run and then so let's say you want to take some profits and you think it's like having trouble right here, kind of like we're having a little bit of trouble right here. And you want to take some profits. We set up the Fibonacci retracement chart and then we can buy it. This gives us levels to watch for bounces and check it out. So we came up, set up the Fibonacci retracement chart, came down to the 50% level. I talk about that all the time. I like watching that. I like that 50% level, the 38% too. This is the one that actually went more heavy in than the 50% level. So I do have a nice little position from here to here right now. But anyways, we came down right at that. We went a little further than the 58% level. We almost hit that 61, but we didn't quite hit it. We hit the 50% level though. Boom. After that, went sideways. We didn't even come back down to the 50% level. After that, we started bouncing to the upside. Right now, what I'm kind of wondering, are we going to be bouncing in between these two Fibonacci, or are we going to be bouncing between Fibonacci retracement levels in general? Right now, we came up to our target, found that Fibonacci retracement level. Are we going to come back down, and can we bounce in between them like I've been talking about on the videos? If we could do that, then it's kind of predictable, because then we have this bottom right here sitting at around 0.338. Then we have a top sitting around 0.394. However, it's possible that it breaks it to the downside, and that's why we play off the next one going to the downside as well, and that's why I still have that limit order there sitting at around 0.294. If we start breaking this one decisively going to the downside, I'll probably sell this one and try to buy it back with the limit order again. But let's see, that kind of backfired in this area when I did that. When we came up and started coming down, we never came back down, and so I never filled this limit order back up. But it's still possible because we haven't broken out of this Fibonacci retracement box yet, or the one that I was just talking about. Once we break this box out, then it's like no longer like valid. We kind of can delete it. I have this one back here set up still because I use it as an example sometimes, because this was like the previous year pretty much, or last year should I say, 2024 I guess. Now it's 2025. Also happy new year. But this is kind of an example of what we'd been looking at for that year. We had a nice run up, we had trouble, and then we came down. We came all the way down to the 61. We got a nice little bounce, went sideways for a while, but we were bouncing in between those two trend lines is my point. Bouncing in between these two trend lines, and then we came down. We actually came down all the way to the bottom, hit that bottom, and that's when we started like really taking off. But let's go back to present day, because now we got a nice little run up, came down, or had trouble, should I say, came down, 50% retrace, bounced to the upside, and yeah, a nice little 50%. It was even a little bit more. It went maybe a little bit more down, almost to like, I don't know, like 60 or something. Who knows? It's right around 61, so it's a little higher than that. I think it goes lower. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I'm very curious. Are we gonna bounce in between these two, or bounce in between Fibonacci retracement levels? Boom, boom, boom. Ideally, I wouldn't mind if we came down, truthfully. If I'm being 100% honest, I wouldn't mind if we broke this going to the downside, came back, filled this one, even broke this one going to the downside, and then came back and filled this one. Came back and filled this one at .294. That's what I wouldn't mind that, actually. I wouldn't even mind if we came back down to like .25 and just to like kind of buy some more. And like I said, though, I took profits, so I'm trying to accumulate. That's the name of my game right now, is trying to accumulate. I'm kind of a little like scared when I do sell, when I do take profits. Like right now it is kind of going to the downside. I'm kind of curious if we could come down and do it. A little nervous, but let's see what happens. I think that about. Oh, you know what? Let's do moving averages real quick before we take off. Because we had broken through the. I wonder if there's another chart we could look at. Let's just delete these for right now. Let's delete that, and we're just gonna focus on the moving averages. We could actually delete this because that's like ancient history at this point. Okay, so we have this blue line right here, the 9 moving average. And basically, when we're above it, great. When we're below it, bad. When we're below it, we come into contact with it and we get resistance on it, and it can push us to the downside. Not always, but that's kind of like a likely situation where you're under it, you're coming into contact with it, and you're getting resistance, and until you actually break through it, then you're kind of like stuck under it, and you can kind of be like, okay, we're still kind of bearish. Right now I'm on the daily time frame. I think this is one of the most important time frames for the 9 moving average, in my opinion, because once we do usually break through the 9 moving average on the daily time frame, then we usually get some nice movement. And check it out right here. Tested it, broke through it. The next day came down, tested it, or I don't know. I guess we just went straight and then it went up. But anyways, we stayed above it. Basically, okay, so what could happen though is you could come above it and then go right back below it. But if you stay above it if you stay above it, then that's a confirmation that we're still heading up, and usually then it starts moving to the upside. That's when we usually get like these nice candles. So as long as we're on above this 9 moving average, short, like basically, like I said, tradingview.com, go to indicators, set up your moving average. I think I have a video on it, but we have this 9 moving average right here. Basically, if we're on top of it, that's a good thing. Right now, we are on top of it. That's a good thing. Until we break below it, or until we break back through it, then we could be bearish. And so this doesn't help bearish scenario of it coming back down, but it could come back down and retest the 9 moving average. So I don't know, but this does look good on the daily time frame right now. The 4 hour, see, the 4 hour looks like it wants to come down and test it, but it might just do something like this and then get pushed to the upside since we are above it. We broke above it right here. Boom, support. Boom, bounce. You know what I'm saying? So watching these 9 moving averages is a nice little, not little cheat, but something. I mean, it's like a nice little piece of the puzzle to add, because once you break through it, boom, you're like, okay, at least we're on top of the 9 moving average. Boom, getting a little bit more confident. Came back down, retested the Fibonacci retracement line, piece of the puzzle. Came down on the, we're on the 4 hour time frame, by the way. Came down, tested the 9 moving average, got a bounce. Cool. This is this candle right here, bouncing on the 9 moving average, bullish signal. Boom. Right now it looks like we're coming down. Let's see if we have to test it and then get pushed to the upside. If we break through it, then that will help my case that I want to come to the downside. But let's see. I would actually like to spend, in my opinion, I would like to spend more time in this area, but I know a lot of people want it to go to like $100 or $10, whatever, you know what I mean, really high, which would be sick too. But because I do still have Dogecoin. I didn't sell all my Dogecoin. I have it on. I have some on Ledger, and because on Ledger, I like ledgers because, or like hardware wallets in general. I don't care which one you, but I have a ledger myself, and I have links in the description to get one. But what I like them for is because, and then especially with Dogecoin, because it's super cheap to send back and forth. That's one of the things I really like about Dogecoin. But what I was gonna say is that if you put it on Ledger, it's harder to like trade when you see it going down. You just put it on Ledger. It's harder to trade. Like you have to pull it back on Coinbase or wherever you do your trading, and then you I think you could trade on Ledger too, though, the platform, but I've never done that. But anyways, it's harder to trade on there, so you don't want to like touch it, or you can't. It's harder to touch it, and that makes it easier to just kind of put away and forget about it, buy and hold kind of thing strategy. I like doing a little bit of both. Back here was my trading. Like I was putting some into Ledger, and I was also putting some into trading. And then we came up, and the stuff that I was trading, I took some profits on and tried to trade with it. And I still have, and then I still have Doge that I bought since like Elon started pumping it like way back here, like in, I don't know, what was it, like 2021 or something, or 2020, somewhere around there. Like around it was like around 6 cents, I think it was, when I first started. But yeah, I wasn't at like 2 cents or 3 cents. I would have been sick too. But so yeah, I'm gonna keep it there until at least gets $1, like at least $1. And so I'm gonna try to like build that one up too, build that little bag of Dogecoin up, or continue to, should I say, as a lot. And with Bitcoin, because it's mainly like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. I have some other altcoins on the ledger, but it's mainly Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. And yeah, to keep long term. But yeah, it looks like it's actually looking really good though. Dogecoin does look pretty good, especially when you look at the 9 moving average on the daily time frame. Let's look at the weekly though. This was one of the other things that I wanted to check out, or not check out, but we have how many more? We have 1 day and 9 hours, and this was kind of one thing that we were below, and we're still kind of testing it right now. We haven't broken above it. Remember I was telling you guys like we can test the 9 moving. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at. This blue line right here, which is now green. But let me zoom in. Basically, if we're above it, then it's good. If we're below it, then it could mean that we're gonna get rejected on it, or that we're having to fight to get break back through it. Right here, we have this 9 moving average. We broke below it. We've been below it for the last couple weeks. Right now, it looks like we're testing it. It does look like we're kind of breaking it. Let's see if we could break through it. We have 1 day and 9 hours for this candle to close. Once this candle closes, let's see if this candle can close above the 9 moving average. It's kind of hard to see where it's at right now, but I'm guessing it's somewhere like along that line right there. If we could close this candle above that area right there, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere right here, and then get the next week and get another green candle and start pushing to the upside, I think that'll be a very good sign, because if we zoom out, then it'll almost have looked like this wasn't really this, like, it couldn't stay below that 9 moving average, opposed to when we did it back here. So we came up, broke through it down here, and then that's when we had that like bear market with Dogecoin, pretty much. Not really bear market, I guess. It was going down. It was technically a bear market. So we broke below that weekly over here. We had that 9 moving average, something like that. We were below it. We're coming into contact with it, having trouble. Once we broke above it, then that's when we started really pushing, and that's what I'm talking about. And it's probably hard to see because it's small, but in general, we were above it in this area. We broke below it. Then that's when we started pushing down. Once we broke above it, boom, that's when we started doing good again. Right here, we broke below it. And now we're testing it. If we could break above it, then maybe we could start doing good again, or maybe we could get more confident on like these targets, these red line targets that I'm talking about. For like the hopium or whatever, the next one would be 0.45. The one after that would be 0.589, and the one after that would be 0.738. And if we could break through that, then yeah. So I'm not really sure at that point. I'd have to like reevaluate what I'd be looking at. Maybe use the Fibonacci retracement chart in reverse or something. I don't know. That's one part where I'm kind of like, I'm more comfortable, honestly, in these Fibonacci retracement boxes. That's why I'm like, I kind of hope that we come down and we just kind of chill in this area and kind of just bounce around in it, because I got, in this whole area, it's like it was nice. Once we break above this, then you're like, oh, I don't know where we're going. I guess it's good because, you buy and hold and you just keep on stacking in ledger, and it just keeps on accumulating. And then once you actually break through it, then it's like, oh, see, this is why we did it. You know what I mean? We had this, we were coming down here. We were all accumulating. We were trading. We were accumulating. We were all big on Doge. We were watching Dogecoin videos, or, not really, but whatever. I don't watch, well, never mind. Basically we were accumulating and trading and and then it finally paid off when we broke through, and it got this big huge pump to the upside. We broke out of this top right here, boom, started completely paying off, and then it could do the same thing here, like accumulating. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to accumulate. It looks like we're already starting to break trends, though. It looks like we're already starting to, because what I was thinking, it might be a flag pattern. If you're still here, congratulations, thank you for supporting and whatever. But also, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers. You guys should hit subscribe if you guys like these videos. But anyways, I was talking about the potential flag pattern that I was seeing. We had this big dip to the downside, and then we're getting consolidation. When that happens, we could be looking at we could be looking at a bear flag pattern, we could have been looking at a bear flag pattern, something like this. And that's why I was also saying, like, when we have these trends that break going sideways, something like that, once we break to the upside, then that's better, because it could have gone down and it could have been a little flag pattern like that, or maybe even, it was something like that, from the top to the bottom of that pole, drag that to the breakout. If we would have broke to the downside, then we'd be looking at something like that, which kind of lines up with the previous high right here around 0.229. That's, if we started going down again, this would be kind of the spot that I'd be looking at. The absolute bottom is around 0.229. So yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at, though. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you guys want to watch the last video where I talked about these targets, check it out right here. You should go check out that video. Actually, the last 2 videos, but check out the last video right here where I talked about these targets. And if you're new to trading, check out this playlist right here. It'll help get you started. And if you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.